All right, so now we're going to go ahead and read and interpret a circle graph. So the first thing that we have here is says favorite football teams of 80 students. So it's very important to look at this 80 right here, okay? That's very important. That's what's going to help us determine the different fractions for this circle graph. So it says how many students were surveyed. So again, we want to say 80. And now we need to find the fraction and the number of students that are represented in this circle graph. So let's take a look at Packers. When I look at Packers, and I'll do this in red, Packers is this section right here. And so if you notice, that's about a quarter of the graph. So for fraction, I'm going to put 1/4 because it's one out of technically 1, 2, 3, 4 sections, big sections. So we have 1/4. And then the number of students. So when I'm thinking about the number of students, we need to find what 25% is of 80. One way you can look at this, and I'll kind of highlight for you. If we look here, this entire section right here is representing 50% or half of the students. So if we have 80 students, half of 80 students is 40 students. But we don't want to know the entire half. We just want to know what the half of that half is. So if we just want to take the 40 students and split that in half, we end up with 20 students. So 1/4 is going to represent 20 students in this particular circle graph, okay? So I'm going to clear that off so that's not confusing. All right, now let's take a look at Falcons. So if we look at Falcons, which I'll do in green, Falcons is this area right here. That looks exactly the same as the Packers. So we're going to have 1/4, and again, that's representing 20 students. Next up, we have Cowboys. And when we look at Cowboys, I'll do that in purple. And that's that section here. That's the same exact section as the Packers and Falcons. So again, that's 1/4 and that's 20. Now here's where things get a little bit different. We do have these two sections here. And these two sections accommodate for 1/4 of that circle. Now notice how they're both exactly the same. So we're going to take that quarter and literally split it in half. So if we have 1/4 and we split it in half, we end up with 1/8. Now you might be saying, how do you know it's 1/8? Well, look, I'm going to use orange to kind of break that up. Okay, if I went like this, then you can see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different sections. So the Saints is representing 1/8 and the Colts are representing 1/8. So that's one way that you can look at it. Now we just need to determine how many students like Saints and how many students like Colts. We do know that they have to be the same number. We've already used up, let's see, 20, 40, 60 out of those 80. So if we take 80 and subtract the 60 that we've already used, we're only left with 20. Now that's not saying that the Saints get 20 and the Colts get 20. We still need to take that 20 and divide it in half so that we can split it evenly among the Saints and the Colts. So if we take 20 and divide it by 2, it gives us 10. So the Saints have 10 and the Colts have 10. And we can always double check to make sure that we have our 80 students. So we have 20, 40, 60, 70, 80. So we know that we have entered in this information correctly.